I want to thank you for joining me again as we continue on with our series, From Other to One Another, our daily devotional series that accompanying our Sunday morning sermon series. I want to thank you for joining us for that as we explore the richness of our relationships with one another. Hi, how you doing? Oh, I'm doing fine. Everything's going well. How about you? Oh, things are going okay. Good talking with you. So much is the conversation of our day, our greeting of one another. It does really nothing more than acknowledge each other's physical presence, that we notice that you're there. It doesn't do much more beyond that. When Scripture repeatedly, at least 4 times in the New Testament, calls us to greet one another with a holy kiss or a kiss of love, it's not calling us to the kind of small talk that is our general greeting of one another. That greeting that says, "Hi, I notice you are in my presence." Greet each other with a holy kiss extends a greeting that is much deeper than, "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you today. How's the weather? Did your team win yesterday?" It calls for engagement and relationship. Today, if we were to call each other to a holy kiss, it would have a quite different connotation than it did in the first century Jewish culture. In the first century culture, a kiss was a common expression of greeting with one another, and you will still see that sometimes today in some cultures that will take and kiss one another on one cheek and then turn and kiss on the other cheek, and sometimes there's even a trifold kind of kiss, an acknowledgement of greeting with one another. And in Western culture and American culture, to greet each other with a holy kiss would carry something of more of a sexual kind of connotation in our minds, because kissing has lost that meaning that it had before of greeting one another. But it still carries the idea that is being presented in Scripture is still an idea of intimacy, that we ought to greet one another with intimacy. I have been in church where I will come up and I will greet someone, and depending on the particular person, you get a feel for whether or not they are comfortable with a handshake or a hug. And there have been times where I have been surprised and reached down to give someone a hug, and I've gotten a peck on the cheek. And I understood in that context that there was nothing sexual implied. It was just a demonstration of affirmation and affection. That this person who had given me that little kiss on the cheek was just meaning to say, "Steve, I love you in the faith. You are special to me. You are important to me. And I want to acknowledge that as I greet you." Sometimes we can do that with a man hug, a frontal hug, a handshake. But in anything that we do, the issue there is intimacy. That we're not settling for just, "Hi, how you doing? Let's go on, let's move on." I had in college a professor that was rather high-strung. And he would walk around, and everyone he meet, "Hi, how you doing? Good to see you today." And then immediately move on. And there was a time where something was going on, and I was about ready to answer, and he had already moved on 3 or 4 steps beyond me. And I was like, he didn't care. When you greet one another, care about one another. Demonstrate affectionate welcoming of one another. Greet each other in an authentic way that says, I care about you, and I want to let you know I'm not just happy for the moment to walk past you, but you matter.